Hey guys, today I'm going to do something a little bit different, something you haven't seen me do in the past. Well, maybe you have, I don't know. You got to pardon all that noise upstairs because that's my son walking around right above me. And when he gets to moving, he doesn't stop. So I picked this up at a flea market early in the spring. It's about 45 degrees out that day. And it was very foggy and misty. And I asked the guy, what do you want for it? And he said 25 bucks. I did a quick search on it and found out that, hey, this is a pretty good guitar. I think they retail for about $5.69. It's called the Luna. Get this capo off of here. Luna Dragonfly Oracle. Well, there's two models. There's a Dragonfly Oracle and a Dragonfly Safari. The Safari being the one, it'll look exactly like this, but it won't have the electronic in it. So you can plug this one into an amp. So that will be the Oracle. What we're going to do today, obviously, is give it a string change because I've never done that since I've owned it. Maybe it's just lazy, but here's what we want to address today. When I pick this up, I want you to see this. If you can, you see this here? It's a solid spruce top. So somebody came along. You see that? And it looks like they tried to stop the crack by using crazy glue or something on it. But these two here, and I think right up here as well. Can you see this? Let me see if I can get that right angle. Right up there. So I'm going to try to sand those flat and without going through the original finish, using starting with a little 400 wet sanding paper, and more importantly, other than the cosmetics here, we got a slightly high action here. You just got to trust me on that, folks. And I've already adjusted the truss rod an eighth of a turn, and that did wonders. It really brought it down. But we have a lot of saddle here, so I'm going to take a 16th off the bottom of this saddle. So yeah, and so why is the action, for you out there that don't know, why is it having a slightly high action? I don't know if you're in the frame here, but when you try to play down here, I mean, you can play it down here, but it's very hard. I mean, of course, the cowboy chords are fine. You can play up here all day long. But we want to be able to use the neck in its fullest all the way down. So that's why we need to lower the action, put on some new guitar strings. And today we're going to be going with a knucklehead heavy acoustic guitar strings. Why do they call them heavy? Well, they're 13s. What does that mean? For those who don't know, this gauge here, I don't know what gauge that is. Maybe a 12. I could put a mic on it, but it doesn't matter. So let's get to it. And also, I like to elevate this, try to keep it as flat as possible. And these work really well for me. They're a pair of RC truck tires off one of my RC vehicles. And look how much string they have on there. Holy crap. It's going to get some love today. Look at this. It's really shoddy workmanship there. All of these strings are, I mean, I guess he threw it on there so he could sell it. I guess kudos to that, but he obviously doesn't do a lot of this. I don't do a lot of it either. I mean, I own quite a few guitars and I do my own tune-ups and setups, but now that one looks normal. Anyway, we're going to cut these off, but you guys just remember, for those who don't know, you don't want to cut these under tension. G string is still tight. Yeah, you don't want to cut these under tension because bad things go happen. So yeah, let me get these strings off of here. I'm losing some of the ends down here. There's one. Brutal. I know I lost another one down there. Where did you go? Here. I think that's it. Shake it around here. Alright, you got a piece of wet sanding paper here. One important thing to know about wet sanding paper is that if you fold this, it'll create a sharp crease and give you a real good opportunity of leaving nasty gouges in your work. So you want to break your paper. What do I mean by that? Okay, watch this. Let's see if you can see this here. Okay, you got a good vision there. This is called breaking your paper. That way when you fold it, it's less likely to create sharp edges. Not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying it's less likely. So, I got myself some water here. And a rag over there for cleanup. Let's see what we can do here. Lots of water, don't be stingy. So, the idea of wet sanding is not unlike polished glass you find on the beach from water and the sand washing over it over time. Same thing for those who don't know. Alright, I'll work at this for a while. I'm sure you don't want to watch all this whole boring process. We'll have a look at it when we're done. Alright, you can see I've gotten it. Trying to get the right light. It's pretty dang good, but there's still a few spots. You see right there? And towards the back here. Let's see if you can get a good look at that. Right there. Right there. Right there. You want to be especially careful towards the edge because that's a crown. So as you go off, you kind of want to lift on your paper. So it's a little more difficult to get this down here because it would be real easy to come over that edge and take off that finish. So, you know, we may just have to settle for not perfect. There's a couple things going on here. It seems that all of that gluing was for naught because... let me see if I can see this again. It's not showing its ugly head right now. When I was sanding it with the water, I could see the water moving in and out through this crack, mostly towards the bridge. Might have to cut some cleats and glue them from underneath to stop that from opening up anymore. Alright, so I'm going to go work up here. There's a big chunk of glue up there. That should be fun. That green stuff right there, that's going to be our compound to try to get our sheen back. And you can see how I spread way out away from the work area. Because it'll be easier to blend this way. If I just tried to isolate two lines here, it would probably stood out really, really strongly. So, right there's a before. Let's see how this works out for us. Okay. As you can see, maybe if you can see, if we hold it on the edge. I don't know. Alright, let's see what happens. had to come up with something a little more abrasive, but you can see we're starting to get our sheen back. Let me work on this a little bit and I'll get back to you, okay? Alright guys, boy, I'm rubbing my you-know-what off. But you can see my luster is coming back here. And so I'll do a little more rubbing. And see there too. In front of the dragonflies where the other glue was at. So yeah. If it sounds like I'm out of breath, I am. Because I don't want to apply that to this. So I've done it all by hand. And so that takes quite a bit of elbow grease. But we'll work at it a little bit more coming out this way before we start throwing some polish on there. And as you can see, it's not perfect. But you know what? Much better to me. This is a project I wanted to get around to anyway. I did not know exactly how it was going to turn out. But when it's all said and done, we'll give this all a clean. Give this a clean. Maybe polish up these frets a bit. And some linseed oil on it. So, yeah. Got my string thing ready. Alright, guys. Other than my mess down there, you could see that a little more work. And I think I'll be satisfied with that. Just so you know, between it all, I did take a 1/16 off the saddle. So you can see that there is a pencil line there. That was my original line where it sat. And so, yeah. We'll have to give that a try. Right now I'm going to clean up the fretboard, oil bridge, and the fretboard, and give this some cleaning up here too. So, yeah, stay tuned. Alright, we're going to put some linseed oil on these things now. And, seeming a little dry, so. As you can see, after it was cleaned, it looks very dry. So, let's see if we can replenish that fretboard. A little goes a long, long way. You don't want it dripping all over the place, let's be honest. And make sure you get down between those, alongside of those frets. And I'll let it sit for a moment or two. And then I'll give it a final wipe. Because you don't need much in there. If it's going to take it, it'll take it in a couple moments. And then you could just wipe the surface. Yeah, this is very dry. In this area, the cowboy cord area, you can see where fingernails have dug in. And that's what you want to really, really concentrate on. I might as well give this fret cover a little love too. It seems very dry. If you're wondering what I'm talking about that. Alright. Work it in one more time. As you can see, there's a nice vibrance to that. And yeah. So alright. I'll give this a wipe down, and next thing I'll be doing is I'll be stringing this puppy up. Oh, you guys do, you know, just, I'm doing it. So anytime you use oil on a rag of any kind, don't leave it in your house. Take it and drape it as much as you can. Open it up and set that outside someplace flat till it pretty well dries up before you discard it, because anything with oil on it has a tendency to spontaneous combust. Go figure that one. So yeah, just a little safety tip of the day. Let me clean this mess up, and then when I come back, I should have strings on this thing. All right. Now we're putting our guitar strings on. E and G, A and B, and D and E. High, so you get the high here. And we'll start with the low E. And you really want to be careful not to poke yourself in the eye, because, you know, that would suck. This is your G. This is your E. Just so you know, there's a little slot in these pegs. I'm not going to do the whole thing with you. Yeah, right here. You see this little slot? Well, that's kind of how that works. So, yeah. Alright, I'll be back once I get it strung up. Well, it sounds much brighter with her new strings on it. She's all tuned up. I've given the strings a pretty good stretch and tuned them up, but we'll see. But it sounds much brighter. And how does it sound down here? Well, it's much lower, so we can get a little action in down here. Yeah, I'm a much better. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm satisfied with that. Now I can sit around my living room and noodle around. And as you can see, I got a nice, acceptable cosmetic look. And I did glue some cleats under here. Boy, that was a pain in the ass, not having a round hole to get into. But yeah, ooh, wow, that sucked. Anyway, oh, you know what? While I'm standing here, let's cut these guys off. Oh, these cutters suck. I don't think these cutters would cut hot noodles. Yeah, I'm a much better setup guy than I am a guitar player. But it doesn't stop me from enjoying it. You know? Yes. And make sure throw these in the garbage, otherwise those could hurt somebody. Yeah, so I know this is probably the first time I've ever changed strings on a guitar for this channel, but sounds much brighter than it did before, and yes, and playable up here, which is really nice. Just a little TLC, and I got a $500 guitar for 25 bucks plus the labor, you know. So hey, yeah, there you go. Great looking guitar, nice and clean and ready to be noodled around on. So yeah, that's Hollow Without.